Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing my 3 words or less game, which I'm stealing from the Colin Cowherd show, because I love that concept, and I'm going to be describing teams in 3 words or less through the first quarter of the season. So, let's get into it. Bills. Allen's big leap. Josh Allen has made a massive leap from year 2 to year 3, and it's evident in touchdowns. Now, I know there's been perception he's thrown a lot of picks. He only threw 9 picks last year, so it's not like he turns the ball over a lot. He's just chaotic when you watch him. But the touchdowns are a real big emphasis because he's only 6 off of his mark last year, putting up 20 touchdowns, already having 14. But the thing that really, really screams improvement to me is 11% higher in completion percentage. Last year he had a 58 completion percentage. This year he has a 69 completion percentage. That's a huge improvement, and that's what you want to see at a young quarterback. Josh Allen, he will make those mistakes, though. He is erratic, to say the least. I mean, that playoff game against Texas last year screams that. He's fun to watch, and he's overall great for the NFL, especially if he can continue this high-level play for Bills Mafia and all them. But as I said, the big story for the Bills is just Allen's big leap. Their defense, it's good. It's what I expected. Their running backs are good. Their receiving corps, now that has taken a massive leap, the addition of Stephon Diggs. But again, the real thing about the Bills is Josh Allen's big leap. Dolphins. Fitzmagic delaying Tua. Now, I know what you're thinking. Ryan Fitzpatrick, not the future of this franchise, and you're absolutely right. Tua Tagovailoa is the future, at least Dolphins fans are hoping. But Fitzpatrick hasn't been bad this year. He's actually only had 2 games where he's thrown interceptions, and he threw multi-picks those games. Week 1 against New England, he threw 3 picks, and week 4 against Seahawks, where he threw 2 picks. Ultimately, those are the only 2 games he threw picks in. And let's look at the loss to the Bills. 3-point game. They beat the Jags by 18. They just destroyed the 49ers. This Dolphins team can have a shot at the playoffs if Fitzpatrick keeps up this pace. He is currently delaying Tua playing this year, which is very good. You give Tua a year under whatever system the Dolphins are running, if they will still have their OC at the end of the year, which I assume they will. You also prevent him from getting hurt behind still a questionable line. And you can also give him a full offseason next year where you can develop him and get him really ready to play football. Ultimately, Fitzpatrick's helping this team out a lot with a lot of things he's doing, but his play is definitely helping them the most with not having to shove Tua out there. Jets. Who hired Gase? Now, I know who hired Gase. Mike McCaggan. He's fired. He is not with the Jets anymore, so why is he still on the Jets team? Why is he still with the organization? It's not like he's won a lot. He's had not much in the NFL. He's had 5 seasons as a head coach, including this season, and he's only had 1 winning record. That was his first year. Since then, he's been 6-10, 7-9, 7-9. So it's not like he is an overachiever. No, he's also disgruntled players. He's got Jamal Adams off the team, Le'Veon Bell off the team, made questionable decisions at best with a lot of the players he's been playing, though Kelechi Osemele problem a year ago, and if you remember during the Broncos-Jets game, Mekhi Becton was in a lot of pain, struggling with his shoulder. He was still out there playing. Adam Gase has been just atrocious hire for the Jets, and he needs to be out before they ruin Sam Darnold, before they ruin any more young talent this team possesses. Patriots. Cam's redemption. And I must stress this, I was not high on the Patriots entering the season, and I'm not entirely still high on them. I still think Cam has yet to play a really good defense, and if he's good to go this week after all the COVID protocols he has to go through, Denver will be a great test for him, because Denver is still led by a great defensive-minded head coach. Overall, Cam's redemption, though, it's not really statistical when I look at it. It's watching him play football. It felt like he wasn't the same quarterback, and I think a lot of that was due to injuries, and everything in Carolina just wasn't clicking anymore. Well, New England, new start, brand new Cam Newton. Well, wouldn't say brand new, but new, invigorated Cam Newton is leading the charge for the Patriots, and he has been the biggest story to come out of New England so far this year. Bengals. Please protect Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is going to be crossing the line of Andrew Luck territory here soon, where he gets hit way too much, and he's been like that to start off his career. The Bengals O-line has not been able to protect him. Bobby Hart should not be a starting tackle. He just should not be. This O-line has been bad, and it has shown. And if this keeps on happening, we're pretty soon going to see a shocked Burrow, who does not want to get hit as much anymore because he keeps on getting hit. He keeps on getting, and then you're going to have injuries. They're going to be nagging. And we may have another Andrew Luck situation. We may, and that sucks as football fans because Joe Burrow looks so good. So Bengals, please protect him. Browns, Stefanski right hire. Now, this Browns team, they had talent last year, but I didn't like them because I thought they hired a bad head coach in Freddie Kitchens. Turns out, they agreed. They hired a bad head coach. And Kevin Stefanski, he's the right guy because he's proven to not know what to do. He knows that the success for the Browns is not on Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield is not that type of quarterback. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He is not Russell Wilson. He's not that guy. He is a guy like a Case Keenum who can play in his role very good. Nick Chubb, even though he's out, was starting off the season great. Kareem Hunt looks great. And I keep from forgetting the guy the Browns have, though, as a third-string guy, but he's playing good. Because this Browns team, the few things they did right this offseason, and makes the biggest difference in the world, is that they emphasize the run game. They are now going full on with the run game, not the passing game. And they improve that O-line. Jack Conklin and Jedrick Wills, two of the biggest signings in the offseason, and it's helped Cleveland out a lot. But Kevin Stefanski is the real main cog to the machine that's rolling with Cleveland right now. Ravens, same exact team. This team is the exact same as they were last year. Can run the ball. Lamar Jackson does Lamar Jackson things. And they play good defense. But if they get down early, and even if it's big, they tend to struggle. This is not a team that's built to crawl back into games. They're not. They're made to get out in front and run the ball down your throats. As we saw in KC, if they get down early, they're going to struggle to come back in the game. Overall, this team is the exact same, which is why I'm currently holding my thoughts on it until I see more progression if they're down big. But this is still a good team that will run the ball down your throats. Steelers, return of Ben. And Ben's not putting up the stats that he normally does. I mean, he's got 1,000 yards through 4 games, so that's on pace for 4,000 yards. That's fine. But the key is, he's only thrown 1 interception. For Ben Roethlisberger, that's really, really good. For like other quarterbacks like Tom Brady, like you expect that. Not from Ben Roethlisberger. You expect Ben to throw it deep. But that's something they are not really doing. This team's offense, receiving-wise, is now dink and dunk. And that could change if Ben's arm feels better, whatever, gets more confidence in it. But this is a dink and dunk team, which is fine. You control time possession with that defense, you're going to have a fun time. While the opposing offensive line is not. And overall, I mean, this team is better just because Ben is back. There were so many times last year where I felt like Steelers can't score to keep up this team because Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges they can't. Ben can. He gives that team more confidence. You can see that reinvigorated in their offense this year. Colts. QB change needed. Philip Rivers has not been that real good this year. I mean, he's got 4 touchdowns to 5 INTs, and one of them I do know was a pick 6 to the Browns. That's not good. It's not good when your quarterback has thrown more interceptions than touchdowns, especially at Philip's age. Philip isn't mobile. He can't move around the pocket. Philip's arm strength isn't as it once was. Yeah, that in consideration, you look at Jacoby Brissett, he wasn't bad until that injury last year. You can put him back there with that defense that is cruising right now. It's number 1 defense in the NFL with a great pass rush and all that. It's either you go Jacoby Brissett or you look to make a trade here in the next 2 weeks before the deadline. Jaguars. Tank for Trevor. This team is not good. They have regressed drastically since week 1 and even week 2 for that matter against the Titans. This is a team that has bad coaching. I don't like their front office. This team will be completely destroyed in this offseason. Tank for Trevor is back on, really. That's where everyone thought this team was going to start out the year, and it looks like that's where they are headed. Now, you look at the Giants, Jets, you look at a couple teams that are on 5, the Falcons as well. you got to think, well, they'll get a win at some point. We just got to be worse than them for the rest of the season. And the Jaguars can definitely do that. This is not a good team. You look at a bunch of other things, though, like running back regression, quarterback regression, defense regression. This team has regressed, and they're just going to keep on getting worse. I don't see this game better anytime soon. This is probably still the worst team in the NFL. I know a lot of people are saying the Jets, Giants. You can't say Falcons because they have the talent. They just can't finish games, really. And we'll get into them in a bit. But you look at the Jaguars, I think this is clearly the worst team in the NFL. Texans, freed from Bob. Bill O'Brien, as much as I thought he was a good coach at times, he was an awful general manager. Made bad trades. DeAndre Hopkins is worth way more than what he got. Laramie Tunsil trade, even though I thought it made sense. You got to protect Deshaun Watson. You gave up way too much, and you gave Tunsil way too much leverage in the contract negotiations. Bill O'Brien was a bad GM. Decent coach, but you kind of feel like he was wearing out his welcome there, especially picking a fight with J.J. Watt. If you watch this team against the Jaguars, they seemed better. This team just seemed more relaxed. They seemed like a team, and I expect Texans to make a run now that they're free from Bob. Titans. Vrabel, best disciple? Now, Bill Belichick's disciples have tend to struggle away from New England. Josh McDaniels, you've seen that with Matt Patricia, Eric Mangini. We can just go on a long list of disciples who have failed. Mike Vrabel's doing really good in Tennessee. Like, really, really good. And it's because he's not trying to be Bill Belichick. He's Mike Vrabel. He's coaching like Mike Vrabel, and this team is just, it's good all over the place. Quarterback position, solid. Running back position, good. Offensive line, good. Receiving core, good. Defense, just good everywhere. This team is good, and it's really well coached by Mike Vrabel. Broncos, time for Locke. Drew Lock got hurt week 2, but from what I've been reading, he's practicing. He sounds like he's almost ready to come back, if not this Sunday. So it's time to figure out what the Broncos have in Drew Lock. Do you roll with him, or do you look at a Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence even perhaps? So this is kind of it for Locke. We're going to find out if he's truly good, if he's truly the savior that Denver's been looking for since Peyton Manning, or is he just another John Elway pick? Chargers. Herbert for real. Now, Justin Herbert has played phenomenal throughout the season. Since he's been playing, I mean, they've taken it to the Chiefs, Bucks, and Saints. That's not bad. That's really good, actually. I mean, they had a close loss to Carolina as well, and that's a game they should have won because they had the final play executed to perfection until the handoff just got bobbled. Austin Eckler catches that, you got a touchdown. First Justin Herbert's win. But this team just seems poisoned to make bad kicks, to make mistakes and blow leads. They should have beaten the Saints, but Badgley missing 2 key kicks really hurt them. I mean, Herbert has played great. Chiefs, defending champions. Now, the Chiefs have been the same Chiefs, but they've gone down early and they've been coming back in games. It feels like this team is getting bailed out by Mahomes a bit right now. And that's not what I expected to say after week 1. Week 2, thought they were going to lose, got bailed out by Mahomes. They've been getting bailed out by Mahomes except against the Raiders, which Mahomes almost bailed them out again. This is a team that's fallen behind, and they are trying to crawl their way back in, and this is not what should be happening with the Chiefs. Now, maybe it's a bit of Super Bowl hangover. You could perhaps have that it's like, oh yeah, Mahomes got us. We don't have to play our best football yet. And that's true. You don't want to be peaking this early in the season. But I have some cause for concerns that they are falling behind early, but they are the defending champs, so they'll get the benefit of the doubt for me currently. Raiders. Carr going deep. Now, that's not something we started to see start out the season, but we saw it against the Chiefs, and that's what got me excited. You got Nelson Aguilar, Henry Ruggs, and you can just go off a couple guys. I mean, Brian Edwards can go deep. A bunch of their players can go deep. It excites me that Derek Carr is willing to go deep. This team has a good rushing attack in Josh Jacobs. This team has been decently coached. This is a good coach team. Defense, not certain of them yet, but this team has not been bad. Darren Waller is a great tight end, one of the best in the league. And Derek Carr willing to go deep is going to make defenders back off a bit. You're going to have more success running the football, and the middle of the field should be open for your great tight end. Cowboys. Defense isn't very good. This defense has been bad to start off the season. They have given up a bunch of points in each game. The Giants, who couldn't score anything, they couldn't muster anything on offense, really, to start out the season. They play the Cowboys, and they are putting up points like it's nothing. This defense is not good. You have the loss of Dak Prescott, and I know people are comparing Dak's numbers to Andy Dalton's numbers right now. Like, first 4 years, yes, Dalton had a very good team around him in the first 4 years of his career. You had A.J. Green, Mohamed Sanu, Marvin Jones, I don't know how I was blanking on his name. They had a good O-line. They had good tight ends. Tyler Eifert, when he was young, when he was healthy, was good. That team on defense was loaded. That Bengals team was loaded. This Cowboys team isn't as good as those Bengals teams. Receiving, good. Offense line is worse. Running back, better, yes. But offense line is worse, and this team is going to struggle with that defense. Because you're not going to be able to hold time possession with that offense line, because you will lose yards on first and second down a lot. You're going to look at this defense, they're not going to be good, and they're going to be on the field way too much. Eagles, heading towards breakup. This Eagles team is not what I expected. I expected this team to be very good on offense and defense, and so far we've gotten defense. And they haven't been great at defense, but they're better than their offense has been. The offensive line has been hurt, and it has hurt Carson Wentz. Their receiving core, I mean, do they have any healthy receivers? Is it like a law if you play receiver for the Eagles, you must miss 5 games. At minimum, 5 games must be missed. Because that's what it feels like. And they're headed towards a breakup because Doug Peterson, there's only so much he can do before Philly turns on you, and they are turning on him. Carson Wentz as well. I wonder if he's going to be gone next year. A place that Carson Wentz could go, which I've talked about and already, would be the Colts trade deadline. 2 weeks from now, could roll Jalen Hurts. They could do that. There's a whole bunch of things that's happening in Philly, and it just feels like they're headed towards a breakup right now. Giants. Daniel's turnover issues. Daniel Jones has got talent. He has a lot of talent, but he has an issue holding on to the football. He's had a lot of fumbles lost. He's thrown a lot of picks, and that's not something you can have at a franchise quarterback. It's a big reason why they're 0-5. I look at this Giants team, I'm like, they've gotten close to a couple victories. They got close to Chicago. They got close to Dallas. Maybe this team's not as bad as their record states. But then you look at that 49ers game, it's like, they looked really bad, especially after what Miami just did to the 49ers. You're now looking at them like, oh my God, what do we do with this Giants team? And I'm in a spot that I say, if this team wants to roll Daniel Jones next year as well, I don't blame them. But if they want to take a quarterback early, I also don't blame them there. Giants are in a spot where they can do either or. You can keep Daniel Jones and trade back, get a lot of picks and build around him, or you could take the next quarterback of the franchise and build around him. It depends if Dave Gettleman's still around. It depends if a lot of things happen. Ultimately, though, if Daniel Jones is to continue being quarterback for the New York Football Giants, he needs to keep control of the football. Not as many picks, not as many fumbles. That needs to start dwindling down. Washington. Alex's comeback story. Now, no matter what you look at the season as, if the football team, Washington, whatever you want to call them, they can get on the right path. They can do well. They make the playoffs because this NFC East team. There's going to be a team making from the East that just doesn't deserve it. That could be them. They could make it and be like, oh, look, Alex Smith, comeback story. Yay, rah, rah, rah. Ron Rivera. I mean, again, and you could also say this as well, resilience for this team is with Ron Rivera fighting cancer at the moment, getting IVs at halftime. But really the thing is right now is Alex Smith's comeback story. No matter how we view it in another 4 weeks, the first 5 weeks of the season currently, people are just going to look and be like, I'm happy for Alex Smith. And that's the thing we got to take from here. This team is not good. They are average on their best day, but they're not even that most of the time. Alex Smith, if he plays for them more, like, we're going to be nervous as fans. Everyone's going to be watching him like, oh, God, is it going to happen again? But if he can just play football again, we can watch Alex Smith play football. That'll be something to look back as a positive this year. Bears, same QB play. And I mean this like this. Nick Foles is a streaky quarterback. Mitch Trubisky is a streaky quarterback. That's what you're getting with these two. They're going to have their hot streaks. They're going to have their cold streaks. Nick Foles can go on a nice 4-game run where he looks really good. Then he can completely disappear. That's what you can get with Nick Foles. Mitch Trubisky can go on a nice 4-game run, and then he can completely disappear. That's what you're getting with these two quarterbacks. They're the exact same. Just one's a bit more mobile in Mitch compared to Nick. Overall, I just don't see this Bears quarterback situation holding out throughout the season. I expect this team to regress because they're not getting elite or even good QB play consistently out of their two options. Lions can't finish games. This team gets out to a hot start in the first half. They will take the lead. They will go out great. And then they disappear in the second half and they lose. Saints, 14-point lead. They went out 14-0. Lost the game. Had a good lead against the Packers. Lost. Had a lead against the Bears. Lost. They've had leads against practically everyone they played. I think everyone they've played, they've led at some point in the game. And they've blown it. Actually, wait, they have, because they've only played 4 games. I forgot they had a bye. But the Lions still have blown their lead way too much. Now, this team is good. They have the talent. They just need to finish games. Maybe they come out better after the bye week. Maybe it's like, okay, we figured this out. We're clicking on cylinders. Let's go. But until they can prove to me they can hold on the leads, I can't trust them. Packers. Rodgers playing lovely. Yes, I had to do the stupid pun. I'm sorry. But Aaron Rodgers has come out great throughout the year. He's been one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He hasn't thrown an interception yet. That's phenomenal. When your quarterback has played 4 games in the season and they're yet to throw a pick, that's a great start. He's clicking on cylinders. Their run game looks good. Their defense is starting to look better. This team is looking better week by week. I see them. Now, they had a bye week this past week, so we didn't watch them play. This week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be very interesting, and I'm very interested in how Aaron Rodgers does against that defense. I'm very interested to see how the Packers defense does against that offense. This game will be a big prove-it game, and we'll talk about that at a later date. But for right now, Aaron Rodgers is playing lovely. Vikings, 2 close losses. And I have sold my stock in the Vikings after being really high on them throughout the year. But I quickly sold, and I kind of regret that because I've gone back and looked at their season so far. They have 2 close losses that kind of define them right now. You have the loss against Tennessee, which was down to the end, and the loss against Seattle, which was down to the end. If this team has those 2 games come out on their benefit, they are currently 3-2 above 500. Right now they're sitting at 1-4. I don't like that, and I just think this team might be turning around here slowly but surely. Now, can they get back in playoff contention? I don't know. You got 7 playoff teams, so there's a shot. I'm just not certain if this team can go without really losing 4 to 5 more games. Buccaneers, most underrated defense. This Bucs defense has been phenomenal throughout the year, and they're not getting the credit they deserve. They're currently sitting at number 2 in yards allowed and number 4 in sacks. That's a great way to start out this defense. Todd Bowles is a great defensive coordinator. I thought he would do wonders with Tampa. I didn't think he would do this good of a job. This is a great turnaround from the defenses Tampa had before him. So you look at that and you look at the fact they have Tom Brady. They have a bunch of weapons on offense, so many to count. Like, you can just ask a Magic 8 Ball, have all their names. Who's going to catch a touchdown? Okay, believable. It's a loaded team, but the thing about this team that's not being talked about enough is the fact their defense is playing lights out. Falcons, fresh start now. This team has been labeled as choking hazard, which you can't really blame people for labeling that, as they have blown leads in games throughout the year. They blew the 28-3 Super Bowl, everyone remembers. I mean, Dan Quinn's tenure started out with him being 5-0 and missing the playoffs. Dan Quinn's tenure as Atlanta will be known as choking. That's just what it's going to be known as. And they need to get him out of there. You need someone new in there. Their defense has not been good for a couple seasons. And the reason why Dan Quinn is so highly thought of is because he was coaching the Legion of Boom, Gus Bradley and Pete Carroll's project. Mainly Pete Carroll's. And we've seen the guys, the defensive coordinators from Seattle, they've gone out their own, Gus Bradley and Dan Quinn, and they have both struggled. It's now to the point that we look at it, it's like Pete Carroll did that. That's not Dan Quinn. That's not Gus Bradley. And it's very evident with how this Falcons defense didn't improve. They got worse as the years went by. Remember last year when Dan Quinn said he'd be calling defensive plays and everyone's like, okay, we should see improvement. No, they got worse. This Falcons secondary is bad, and that's what Dan Quinn was known as from Seattle with the LOB. So you look at all these things, it was time for a fresh start for Atlanta. It was time. Panthers, well-coached team. The Panthers don't have any real superstars besides CMC, and he's hurt. They start out 0-2 and have been 3-0 since then. This Panthers team has been very good throughout the year. They took it to the Raiders, and they took it to the Bucs in their 2 losses. This is a well-coached team. They don't do things great. There's nothing on this team that's great. They do the little things well, though. They do the small things, the fundamentals, they do them well, and that's what's winning them football games. Do I expect this team to make the playoffs? No. But would I be surprised? No. Matt Rule is a great coach. I loved him at Baylor. I thought he did a great job. And when I saw he was going to the NFL, I was like, okay, where's he going to go to? And I saw the big, massive offer Carolina offered him, and I was like, well, good for Matt. And second of all, how will he work? How will he transition? And he has made a flawless transition so far. Joe Brady, another guy he brought from college football from LSU's offense last year, is doing good work with Teddy Bridgewater in the Panthers offense. This Panthers team is good, and they're only going to get better as the season goes along as they get more accustomed to Matt Rule. Saints. Don't trust them. I do not trust the Saints. This team has had its issues. And we can go back to that no call, defensive pass interference, whatever you want to say. If it was illegal contact, defensive pass interference, no matter what, should have been a flag and automatic first down. Since then, this team has kind of seemed to lost its oomph. They were good last year. They made the playoffs. They were the 3rd seed. They won their division, but they lost round 1 to the Vikings. And I just look at the Saints team. I don't trust them when they get to the playoffs. I don't. And I think this team will get to the playoffs. I think they have too much talent to miss it. But I don't trust them. This is a team that should have lost to the Chargers. They should have lost to them straight up, but Chargers missed 2 key kicks. This team should be 2-3. They're 3-2, barely. I look at this division. Panthers, I'm liking more with what I see from the Panthers. I like more from what I see from the Bucs. I view the Saints just above the Falcons currently. And the Falcons are 0-5 and just fired their head coach and general manager. I don't think the Saints team's going the right direction. I think they're going to make the playoffs, but I think they're going to be bounced round 1. Cardinals. NFL's Texas Tech. Now, I like the Cardinals offense. I think it's very good. It's very fun to watch. Kyler Murray is a blast to watch. DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Fitzgerald. You can just go on. You can list all their players off. It's fun to watch. My concern's on the defense, especially after losing Chandler Jones. This defense will be tired just due to how the Cardinals run their offense. I mean, they're not going to win time possession battles running an air raid. You're going to either have quick 3-and-outs or you're going to have quick drives and you just move down the field. No huddle, no huddle, no huddle. Something we saw with Chip Kelly's team, they kind of got exposed. And it's a big thing they're going to worry about. If you're a Cardinals fan, or just watch them in general, how will this defense hold up as the season goes along? And I don't truly know. I think it's going to be due to a lot of conditioning they're going to have to deal with. And also, Vance Joseph, this is kind of his last shot. So you also wonder how much of it's going to be Vance Joseph will get blamed on it. We can bring in someone new instead of maybe addressing the real issue. Rams. NFC East only. Now, the Rams have won 4 games. All 4 of those games are against NFC East teams, and that division has not looked good to start out the year. Their loss is to an AFC East team in the Buffalo Bills who look really good. So then you're going to wonder how much of it is the Rams being up on bad competition, how much of it is actually them being good. I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think this is a good Rams team. I don't think they're as great as they have shown because they've played against weaker competition that they should easily beat. This Rams team, though, I mean, you got Sean McVay at calling the plays. You got Jared Goff. You have a bunch of running backs who are good. You got good receivers, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, the main two. And that defense led by Aaron Donald, so you're good there. This team is good. They're just not as good as we think due to their competition they've played. Seahawks. Russ is cooking. Russell Wilson has been phenomenal throughout the year. Just phenomenal. The Seahawks would be a bad team without him. This defense is not good. The rushing attack, it's okay, but Russell Wilson's a big reason why their offense is as successful as it is. DK Metcalf, as good as we think he is, he would not be doing this well if he had another quarterback that's not Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is special, and he is putting up MVP caliber numbers. Currently third in the NFL in passing yards, which will improve, especially with Dak being number one. Touchdowns, first in the NFL with 19. And he's thrown 3 picks. Now that's a little higher than usually you get with Russell Wilson. He usually doesn't throw that many interceptions, but when you throw the ball more often, you're going to have more picks. This Seahawks team, though, it's pretty much simple. They should get out big out front. Use Russell Wilson, get out big. Look what you did against Atlanta. If you can do that week after week after week, you will save your offensive line some beatings instead of just grinding it out. Because Seahawks have been entering the playoffs injured. When you throw the ball a bit more, you're going to have your offensive lineman healthier. When you run the ball so much, you're going to get tired. You're going to have guys' legs get rolled up on. When you throw the ball, you still have that same issue, but not as badly. 49ers. Super Bowl hangover. This is a team I didn't expect to make the playoffs, or at least they'd be close to it, but I didn't see them making it. I did not think this team would have as good of success as they did last year due to the fact they had the Super Bowl hangover. Typically, teams who lose the Super Bowl, they don't come out as good. They stand still a bit. And happened with the Rams last year. They put together at a season. So this team can very well put together by the end of the season. Same thing with Atlanta after 23. You just see it happen to teams. And it's not really something to stress out about. This team will be good next year. And another big thing that's going to hurt the 49ers is Nick Bosa is injured. Their team is injured. The 49ers have a deep injury list, and it's going to really hurt them as the season progresses. This is not going to be a team that's going to get healthier as the season goes along. No. Well, their big players, minus Rich Sherman, have season-ending injuries. That's not good. Jimmy Garoppolo came back from his injury, and he didn't look good. I mean, he got benched for C.J. Beathard. Currently, this is the team that's going to struggle right now, and will pick it up at the end of the season, I believe.